Good evening. Nice roll around, Harrison. This is Drinking Socially Live, and the first one we've ever done, so we're starting it with a tailgate. I'm John. I host a podcast that Untappd does called Drinking Socially with Harrison. But Colby, why don't you go ahead and tell us why you're here, man, and why you're a Texans fan?
Yeah, absolutely. So work with you fine gents here at Untappd, do a little bit of sports writing on the side too. So like to think I am a resident football fan here. And how did I become a Texans fan? From PA originally. That's not the reason why. But used to be an Eagles fan. Unfortunately, Harrison realized I didn't like Eagles fans, which was validated a year or two ago. Texans were the expansion team that year. You can never be called a bandwagon fan if you're there from day one. So here's to hoping we get one soon.
There you go. At least you're thinking about it. Good.
Yeah, and who knows? We may not get one anytime soon, but I mean, the more we hope, maybe we'll get one. Fingers crossed.
Spoken like a true Texans fan.
Right.
Harrison,
right.
Your team knows about Super Bowls. Introduce yourself for those everyone that doesn't know you.
Right. Yeah. So as John mentioned, I co-host the Drinking Socially podcast with him that comes out every Wednesday, and we talk about all kinds of things, beer related and not. And yeah, I am here representing today the Eagles. Go Birds! Yep, maybe 2-3-1, but top of the NFC East. So here we go, marching our way to the King of the Mud, as your little turtle would say. But excited to be hanging out, drinking some beer virtually with you guys today, and looking forward to hearing everything Colby has lined up for us. There's some pretty cool info that Untappd has, and we can share with you tonight, having to do with football and check-ins and stadiums, all kinds of stuff. So I'm pumped to kind of get into that with everybody this evening, and maybe we'll learn a thing or two.
Yeah, so we wanted to start this tailgate off by reminding everyone to drink responsibly, but it's a tailgate and you're at home. So, we all can quantify our own level of responsibility. Let's move on from that. Initially, I think it was important that we all talked about our favorite teams, but I mean, go Bills,
Yep.
Texans, maybe hopefully soon, and Eagles, King of the Mud.
Right.
For those of you watching at home, please chime in with your favorite teams. If they're good, we'll definitely agree with you. If they're not the Bills, you might get roasted. But we're drinking Pernicious IPA from Wicked Weed tonight. And anybody want to volunteer why we chose that one? Those of you sports experts on the panel?
Yeah, I can let you know this year here at obviously Carolina is allowing fans at the stadium, and just a little bit of looking into the numbers there. Pernicious is actually the second most checked in beer at Bank of America Stadium this year. So even though we're not physically there, virtual tailgate, we'll drink basically the beer of the Carolina fans.
There you go. Sweet. Oh, man. There's the first one. Kyle.
It was bound to happen. We'll get it out of the way.
I agree with most of your statement, though, Kyle. And the Dolphins. All right.
Okay.
There we go.
It's two a time. We'll see it.
That was really cool. I saw somebody. Yes, there we go. The Bills have never been a threatening team.
They couldn't even put their name to it.
Yeah, that's all right. That
speaks volumes, John. That speaks volumes.
I saw somebody, rugby fan, but they mentioned Bat Squatch, which was, Mark, you're a Patriots fan. I have a special thank you for you later, Mark. Thanks for the treehouse. Sorry about the Patriots. Somebody mentioned Bat Squatch. Harrison and I just drank that beer on the podcast.
Ooh, we did.
There's a small circle happening here. Except for rugby. I don't know. That's like football with less rules.
That's right. Less pads, less rules.
Yep.
More. Yeah. Oh, man.
That's a spot on description if I've ever heard one.
That's it.
So thanks for watching, everyone, tonight. As Drinking Socially Live is our first proper event, anybody checking into Pernicious IPA along with us is going to earn the Drinking Socially. There's a podcast badge. And along with Bat Squatch, Harrison and I have reviewed quite a bit of beers on the podcast so far this season.
Yep.
So you can earn level 1 by checking into Pernicious with us. And if you want to continue leveling that up, check out the podcast we do, and you'll see 25 other beers on there so far. You can grab and drink along with me and Harrison every Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right. You don't need to look far to find it. If you check in Pernicious tonight, the badge, I'll have the link right there to the podcast. You can also go to untappd.com/podcast. Check it out over there too.
So the tailgate happens typically before a football game. Even as a Bills fan, I know that. Sometimes they're a week long. But Colby, what do we got on cue for tonight?
Yeah, so obviously we have Falcons are visiting Carolina, so we're at Bank of America Stadium. And kind of looking at the game, just a quick breakdown. Obviously, a lot of stuff you can find, but 1-6 Falcons, 3-4 Panthers. Interestingly enough, Atlanta's coming off a game where a touchdown actually was the reason that they lost. If Todd Gurley would have went down instead of scoring, as his quarterback had said to, they probably would have came out of Detroit with a win. But what are we looking at here? Carolina's 2.5-point favorites. There's going to be a lot of rain and wind. I would be more concerned with the wind actually in terms of some of the things going on in this game here. The two teams have already played. Panthers won by a touchdown earlier. When you look at the historical data, however, Carolina's won just two of the teams, or of these two teams' last 10 matchups. So Atlanta has the track record of late. I believe we'll be giving our predictions later, but the big thing to note, Atlanta's defense is bad. They're allowing nearly 30 points per game. Teddy Bridgewater has honestly provided a little bit of spark for the Carolina offense. So we'll see what happens, but it's a big NFC South showdown. It should be a really good game and should be fun to watch. I don't know if there's going to be as many points scored as many people think due to the wind and rain, but should still be fun to watch nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Do you think, Colby, there's a correlation between like more Untappd check-ins at a team that's having maybe a harder time winning? Do you think there's any correlation to winning teams and more beers being drank, or losing teams and more beers being drank?
Don't know if there's always they say like correlation doesn't always mean causation. I know this year compared to last year as a Texans fan, my check-ins have gone up this year. We're only 7 weeks into the season, but they've gone up compared to last year. But just from what we've seen this year, so kind of as we mentioned before, been kind of tracking some check-ins at stadiums and such of the teams that are allowed to have fans. That is, and actually through 7 weeks, we've seen 5 different stadiums lead in check-ins. A couple teams we got 3 in the AFC, 2 in the NFC. But kind of with what you're saying, yes. So believe it or not, the 4 stadiums that have the most check-ins, those 4 teams all have a winning record, and they're combined 20-6. Whereas if we flip the script, the 4 stadiums with the fewest check-ins, of course, of those allowing fans, only one of them has a winning record, and they're a combined 8-17-1. So again, correlation doesn't always mean causation, but it seems like maybe what we can say is maybe the beers taste a little bit better with some of those teams that are doing well compared to those that are struggling. But personally, again, my check-ins are way up this year just because we have 1 win. So
yeah, very
2020.
Cool.
2020.
It's what do we got here? Oh, right. Awesome. Good for you, Andrew.
Hadouken IPA.
Hadouken.
Yeah.
That probably delivers quite a punch, but yeah, that'll be probably a solid game this weekend on the college football side of things. It always is. Penn State, Ohio State. Good stuff.
Who tailgates? Ooh, hell yeah. Travis, nice cat, nice beer, great team. Who do you think tailgates harder, college or professional, or football as the world knows it, soccer, as I call it?
That is a tough question. Colby, you go first.
That is tough. I will honestly probably lean college just because, you always see it like you got college game day and that gets publicized. So you have all the team, those 2 teams that are there, all the fans are there. They might not be fully partaking in the tailgate. They're trying to get on TV right there behind the crew and everything. I'll lean college over the NFL, but I mean, personally, I've had fun at both. So, but I would probably lean college.
I would say on that topic, perhaps, I hear what you're saying, Colby, and initially that was my gut reaction. College kids, crazy all the time. But the only thing crazier than a college kid is a dad that starts drinking on Sunday around 8 a.m. So maybe the NFL has a slight edge there, but it's probably city to city and as all things tailgate to tailgate. But that'd be interesting to know. Perhaps some check-in data can tell a story there on a later episode of this. Maybe that give us some insight into at least who's enjoying more beers at certain tailgates. But that's a good one.
Mark, I'm under the impression you're a Patriots fan, so I got to call out, like, what do you even know about losing? But I can agree. Like this hat is the Buffalo Bills 2020 hat for me, and it's brought us our best season since I was old enough to ride a bike. I can agree. Do you guys have any superstitious like traditions? Any game day traditions?
Usually, I mean, for me, it's not so much a tradition as it's tough for me to watch games like with other people out in public. I kind of need to be in my house in the safety of a room. I can yell whatever I want to in and not get kicked out of the building. So for the most part, so that's kind of, if it's Sunday or whenever the Eagles are playing, I'm usually somewhere private, just venting as one does. But what about you, Colby?
I'm the same way. I can't be around other people. There's expletives. There's a lot thrown at the TV, whether we're doing well or poorly. Yeah, so it's not really too much going on. I guess any superstition, I mean, typically always have at least a beer on hand. At least this year, I was saving a Pliny the Elder for their first win. Really thought that was coming a lot earlier than it did, but it tasted good nonetheless. And so, yeah, no real big traditions for me. I'll typically always have something Texans on, but I'm just like Harrison. As minimal or as few people around me as possible. It wouldn't be any fun for them.
John, what about you?
I don't think I have a tradition. It's usually just, yell, go Bills, and then yell pass interference, and then yell at the referees. That's my sports tradition. Someone had a fun fact I saw posted up here a second ago. Last time the Dodgers won the World Series and the Lakers won the finals, the Bills also won the AFC East. That is a fact right there. Jamie Tovar, you should be on TV, or I don't. You should be Colby. Colby's facts usually he's the guy that impresses me with those off the cuff facts. But I guess that's a good thing for the Bills. We're not accepting fans anymore this year. We've got a winning record. The books are shut.
So fast.
We are. We'll take them. We lost some people. We're trying to get some back. But no, that's a cool fact. And it's interesting. There's like some other ones with like wherever Tom Brady goes, that city tends to do well and such. So it's always cool when you get the fun facts like that. And obviously the Dodgers coming off the World Series victory. That's cool. Maybe the Bills will go 12-4. They're going to have to score some more touchdowns and field goals, but maybe the Jets are the Bills' kryptonite that they can't find the end zone.
Yeah, conference games are tough. What about this one, Colby? Any predictions for the Seahawks this weekend?
Let me see here. Not exactly sure who they are playing off the top of my head. I can pull that up, though, and give you a rough breakdown. But they're cooking. Seahawks look very good coming up against 49ers. So, again, we have another NFC West showdown. Looking at the Seahawks, what don't they do well? And right now it's stop the pass. They cannot stop the pass. Their corners are brutal. They've been getting abused all year. I guess the upside is that the 49ers don't have Deebo Samuel. I'm a big Brandon Ayuk fan, and they have George Kittle, and they have enough of a running game. Looking at this one, it's really hard to go against Russell Wilson. But with that 49ers defense and such, I might take the 49ers on the road here, believe it or not, in a big NFC West showdown.
That'll be a good game. Yeah, afternoon game. That'll be great.
Yep. Was it the Seahawks where that meme came from, where the guy was running 100 miles an hour? Was that the game last week that I saw all over Twitter?
That was Mr. DK Metcalf. Dude is a athletic specimen, and yes, he tracked down Buda Baker. Quite impressive. A lot of funny memes going around about that too.
Let's see. Really active chat. Thanks for contributing, guys. Somebody agreed with you, Harrison, a little while ago. That's something worth celebrating. I saw that scrolling through the feed on Facebook, I think. What else we got to talk about here coming up? Season in review. What are we, halfway through the regular season so far, right, Colby?
Yep. Basically looking at the halfway point here, and just a couple weeks that really stand out. So we'll go back to week 1. Looking at here is opening week. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs get their Super Bowl rings. Patrick's then girlfriend got her ring at the same time. So kudos to them. But looking at that, of course, Houston's in town. So of course they lose. And Kansas City wins. They had the most check-ins that week. And interestingly enough, so looking at the stadium, a beer by Boulevard Brewing, it's called Worth the Wait, was the top check-in that week there. And it's actually a really cool thing that Boulevard Brewing does. So they did it back in 2015 for the Kansas City Royals when they won their World Series. I'm not sure when they'll see another one, but they had a special limited release to commemorate Kansas City's Super Bowl win. So it's always cool when you have a brewery like that comes in and kind of comes with one as the city to commemorate a pretty big athletic achievement. So no surprise that Worth the Wait as that limited release was the top beer in week one. Obviously, as I mentioned, Texans lost in week one. I believe that was the start of the Bills win streak, considering the last game that they played was a loss in the playoffs to the Houston Texans back in, I guess it was still 2020 at that point, but still, so you get it. But yeah, week one, Texans lost, believe the Bills won. I don't remember what the Eagles did, but I'm sure someone got injured, Harrison.
Yeah, that's been kind of the story of every season is Eagles going down early. I will say, and I've said this forever, it's not about if you get hurt, if you have injuries, because everyone does every season. It's when you get injured. So happy to say 6 Eagles coming off either injured reserve or just being injured for the past couple weeks this week. So we'll see what that does against the Cowboys on Sunday night. But yeah, it's kind of always about when you get injured. And then, of course, it helps to not have a offensive line that's also part of the AARP. But you can't have everything in life. Where would you put it? But we're doing what we can with what we got.
Right. And honestly, that's all you can. That's what the Bills did for a long time, and now they have some pieces in place. So, I mean, obviously, John's riding high over here with, you can't even add our wins together, Harrison, to equal where his team is at. So I don't know how much. We don't really have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, it's all about your division and conference.
We've known a lot of sadness. Okay, we've known a lot of sadness. Right. Basically, before the internet happened, the Bills were good. So it's okay. Right. Let us have this year.
There's almost no record of it, is what you're saying. It's almost like it didn't happen.
Good question for you, Colby, but let's start with Harrison. Ravens Steelers this Sunday. Harry, do you got a favorite for that?
That's always a great game when they get together. But so let me think about just selfishly with my fantasy team. Who do I have? I have the Ravens defense, so I'm going to hope that they put up a show against Big Ben and kind of make them move it on the ground and not too many deep throws, which the Ravens are good at. And yeah, the Ravens, but this is going to be tight. The Steelers, though, look like they may be the best team in football right now. So I hope it's just like best. I mean, we'll see.
The best team in Pittsburgh for sure.
There you go. That's right. Let's not oversell anything tonight. But this could be close. I mean, I see it coming down to like a late field goal or something. But I'm hoping that the Ravens can hold on to it just so I can I do what I do every year. I win the first 4 games in fantasy and then lose every single one. So let's see if I can change that this year. Let's go Ravens.
Colby, you agree?
I do not. I don't know if I can. Harrison beat me in our work fantasy football league, so he got one win there. But I don't know. Kind of looking at the track record here, the last 7 Steelers have won 4. The Ravens haven't impressed me much this year, despite the fact that both teams have beaten the Texans this year. It's very interesting when looking at the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, there was the whole, is he a running back coming out, and that whole conversation. Dude's a quarterback, don't get me wrong. Not really delivering the ball to the receivers as much. It's kind of Mark Ingram in that running game. Pittsburgh's defense is very good. I'm taking the Steelers in this one, and while I hate to say it, don't be surprised if the Steelers represent the AFC this year come Super Bowl time. That defense is good. They have enough weapons around Big Ben.
That's enough, Colby. That's good. That's
okay.
Good.
Am I muted? Am I muted? Okay.
Am I still here? Is it live?
Great question, though. And that's like my favorite part about football is I can get really excited leading up to the game. Then I'm really anxious. Then I'm usually, I don't know, a couple of check-ins deep, we'll say. This season's been a good, weird, bizarro universe for me and the rest of us Bills fans watching. Someone posed a question, if we have time for it. What's your tailgate food of choice? That's something I'm starting to wish I had prepared.
There we go, Alan. That's good. For me, tailgating. Well, I have a funny specific story about tailgating and food, but the usual for us, if we go into a Birds game, is you just go down to if you were smart enough and got there early enough to Tony Luke's Cheesesteaks. Got a cheesesteak. literally walked across the street to the stadium and ate that before the game started. So that's easy. If you're in Philadelphia, why would you not be eating a cheesesteak at any point you get an opportunity to?
Yeah, last game I tailgated at was actually a Texans-Eagles game up in Philadelphia. That was when Texans lost on a questionable Jadeveon Clowney roughing the passer when Nick Foles led them to a win that game and further on. But for me, it's kind of classic, but can't go wrong with a good old hamburger. Get a little ketchup on there. If you're lucky enough to have some bacon, you can put that there. But there's nothing better than you're throwing the football around at the tailgate. You got your beer in one hand, and then you have the other hand open just to make the one-handed catch so that you can switch the beer to the other hand so that you can throw the football back, and then you're eating the hamburger in between the two. So for me, can't go wrong with a good old hamburger.
Love it. John?
All
anything?
of it. Anything but buffalo wings for me. I think I've eaten enough of those in my life. If you go to Buffalo for a tailgate, look for a beef on weck sandwich. And even if you don't like it, put a whole bunch of horseradish on there. It'll make the hair on your head stand up. Or it'll be the 12-degree winds and chills.
You need something to warm you up. Right.
That'll do it.
We had we had something prepared for this. We talked about it earlier. The meme-ified fastest running person, maybe not in history, but thank you. This shot right here. So we've got Colby. You explained it really well. He basically outpaced a moped to catch up to this guy on the Cardinals, and it kind of cost him the game. You could maybe make the argument, but anyways. Colby, Harrison, you guys watching at home, put you on the spot. If you have a funny meme for this, I saw one earlier that I loved, and it's the Arizona Cardinals are the Buffalo Bills in this season, and Metcalf is every other Buffalo season rushing to catch them and crush their dreams. Anything come to mind for you guys or anybody at home have a funny maybe? Yeah, send us your funny memes.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll stick with the team, basically with the trade deadline here kind of looming. We'll say Budda Baker there, the Cardinals guy seems like Will Fuller is a pretty popular target. So we'll say Budda Baker is Will Fuller, and then Metcalf chasing him is every other team in the NFL. He seems like a pretty hot name here at the trade deadline.
And I'll say for my Budda Baker, that's like my, 2021 New Year, new diet. And then DK Metcalf is like the February Super Bowl, like tailgate spread that I'm going to eat the end of January and just erase all those gains or losses, depending on how you want to measure a diet. But something like that, probably more succinct because it's but this is great. Please send us yours. Put them in the comments. I think, John, if I'm correct in saying this, we're going to pick one that we like the most and drop it on our Twitter tomorrow. Is that right?
This is live, Harrison, so it looks like
we're doing it now.
We're going to make that happen.
So, yeah, submit what you got. Make some funny jokes. Use less words than I did, and we'll drop it on the interwebs.
Anybody that can make a meme and put Metcalf as brute IPAs, automatic 5 points.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Should have gone there.
Yeah, I'm sad we didn't do any. I noticed all you guys are drinking from cans tonight as well. Way to support the tailgating spirit. Mm-hmm. Harrison, you're kind of like Colby. I look at you as like the person I want to ask any sports related question. Harrison, beer related questions. Off the top of your head, is there anything really wrong with drinking craft beer from a can?
Nope.
Thank you.
That's it. Nope. Presented without comment.
Short and sweet.
That's right.
Lou, I mean, you have a proper pub culture in London. I'll give you that.
Pretty cool.
What is the proper tailgate culture? Is it drinking too much, or is it camaraderie and throwing a football around?
I think it's right. It's the whole experience. It's the way the tailgates smell, which I'll let you imagine and not elaborate further. It's throwing the football around. It's that guy didn't put his grill out and put it under his car, and now his car is on fire. It's all those things kind of combined with, by the way, there's a game going on. It's an experience. It's very much something I hope everyone has experienced, if not will someday, because it's very unique for sure.
Assuming you guys have been to at least one, because we already covered kind of our view of tailgating. A challenge I wanted to issue is, can you surmise your favorite or most memorable tailgate experience? Can you manage to capture that in 5 words or less?
We can give it a shot.
Yeah, I can. I think Harrison's will be a little bit better than mine, but mine is simple. Little kid screams at me.
Yes.
So
that can be any day.
Right. Or anyone.
Yeah, but this one time really sticks out.
Yeah, I bet. That could also be the same as mine, but the reason he screamed at me was turkey leg in my beard. So that's my five word. If you count turkey leg as 2 words, that's up for. If not, then it's turkey leg sauce in my beard. And maybe that paints a scarier picture coming out of the shadows, covered in barbecue. Anyway, fun times.
Sounds it.
We'll table that for later.
We'll table that one. Yep.
Careful putting the table out here. There's a bunch of Bills fans in the chat.
Right. Which are coming through their phones.
Yeah. Video. Send us your Insta videos of you breaking through tables on Sunday. Send them to us. Send them to your friends. Let them know the Bills rule. Let's see. Well, it's been fun drinking with you guys, but I don't know. We got to get ready for a game. No, I'm kidding. What do you got? I know, Colby, you actually prepared quite a bit to come on and talk sports with us tonight. I love that you know quite a bit about beer. We just got a mention of the Texans in the chat. You're trending right now.
Love it. See, this doesn't happen often.
Look at that.
This doesn't
2
happen
people
often.
on the internet are Texans fans.
That's not bad. Honestly, that's not bad. But no, you definitely said it right. So kind of want to flip the script here a little bit. So typically it's always, with your guys' podcast and such, y'all are the hosts and everything like that. So I thought we'd switch it. Let me go ahead and act as the de facto host here, taking some UT or Untappd data along with NFL data and kind of put the 2 together, kind of act like a trivia game here and see if you guys can get these questions right. So we'll go ahead and start with the first one here. So take Bank of America Stadium and take Mercedes-Benz Stadium, aka the Falcons Stadium. Draw a 5-mile circle around it. Since football started back on September 10th when the Texans lost, which do you think is higher, the check-ins in Charlotte and Atlanta, or the total passing yards to date in the NFL? John, I'll let you go first.
Wow.
So total check-ins around those 2 stadiums
since football started.
Long.
Yep, including non-game days.
Or the total passing yards for every quarterback, including Josh Allen.
And including
just
Deshaun Watson.
Just Josh Allen alone, he wins.
Including Deshaun Watson, who has more than Josh Allen, but yes, all quarterbacks.
That's hard to believe. Check your facts, but I'm gonna say passing. Well, no, any beer check-in,
any check-in in Charlotte and Atlanta.
I love Josh Allen, but I'm gonna stick with Untappd on this. More beers checked in. That's my vote.
Okay. Now, Harrison, before you answer, I'll tell you this. What if I told you we are on pace for the most passing yards in the NFL in the past 5 years?
Yeah,
so go ahead.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Thanks, Colby.
Thank you very much for that. Right. But that's kind of what I was thinking. I feel like I've seen a lot of high-scoring games this year with no preseason. Defenses, notoriously more difficult to get together than offense. So I'll just be contrarian, go get John and say more passing yards. That's going to be the higher number.
It is actually the check-ins in Charlotte and Atlanta. As about a week ago or a couple days ago, it was passing yards, but Charlotte and Atlanta took off there. So, yep, we're looking actually just rough numbers here. A little over 51,000, a little over 51,000 passing yards versus about 55,000+ check-ins in those 2 cities.
Wow.
Now,
Atlanta and Charlotte, keep drinking. Well, check in responsibly.
Right, for sure. Now, so the beer we're drinking tonight, very fitting. So we have Wicked Weed's Pernicious IPA. Which do you think is higher? The rating of this beer on Untappd or Todd Gurley's yard per carry mark this season? Harrison, you'll go first, and then John gets the potentially helpful hint.
Great. All right. So bottle caps Untappd from 1 to 5. I'm going to guess that Pernicious, I probably should have looked, is around a 4. So he's got to do more than 4 yards per carry, which he should be doing, but they're 1 and whatever. So is he doing it? Let's go with, I'm going to just go with Gurley. I'm going to keep sticking with, I'm going to go with Gurley. Gurley's got, he can do more than 4. He's doing it. Let's hope.
For sure. Now, John, you don't get as helpful with him, actually, now I think about it, because your team's doing well. So what I'll give you here, so Gurley is tied for 3rd in the league in avoided tackles amongst running backs.
Ooh.
However, Atlanta ranks just outside of the bottom 3rd in terms of team run blocking.
Yeah.
So he's good at breaking tackles, but his offensive line, not great. So same question.
Give him a lot of opportunities to break tackles.
Potentially.
Helpful
maybe.
Group.
Sure, that number could be flawed. But so what do you think? What is
Wicked Weed's Pernicious? I know that the max it could get is 5. And let's be honest, even Julius doesn't have a 5 average rating on Untappd. Right. So it's probably a little bit below 5, but this is a great IPA. And 3 years ago, this was like cutting edge. So I'm going to pick Wicked Weed's average rating on Untappd. I'm going to assume it's above 4, and I'm going to easily justify that Todd Gurley isn't moving 4 yards per carry. Although maybe that's mean, but nope, Wicked Weed. That's my pick.
So actually, Pernicious is a 4.01. Gurley's a hair under 4. It rounds up to an even 4. So we have a 4.01 versus a 4.0. Worked out perfectly, but Pernicious is actually, its rating is higher than Todd Gurley's yard per carry mark.
Wow.
So
John is killing it tonight.
I think this is called fool's luck.
There it is.
Can I right?
Yeah, well, I got one more for you, but we won't know who's right until tomorrow. So we'll use this as a predictor, and I'm going to get in on this one too. But John, you got it right, so you get to go first. So we're sticking with Wicked Weed Pernicious. Check-ins at Bank of America Stadium tonight because they are allowing fans. Which is higher, the number of check-ins to Pernicious at the stadium, or the combined number of touchdown passes between Matt Ryan and Teddy Bridgewater?
I'm going to go with Wicked Weed Pernicious check-ins at the stadium on Thursday Night Football in Charlotte against the two. Well, no, Bridgewater's had a good, but no, touchdown passes.
Passes.
I'm going to say that there's more Pernicious check-ins at Bank of America Stadium tonight. I'll even one-up you. I'll say more than every passing touchdown this weekend, except for Josh Allen.
Wow.
Okay. We'll take the number and subtract Josh Allen's 2 touchdown passes out of it for the sake of this. But Harrison, our team stink. You get some helpful hints. So earlier matchup between these two teams, there was only 2 touchdown passes combined. Yeah. Atlanta has allowed the most passing touchdowns this season. Now, on the other hand, Carolina is one of only 3 teams that have allowed more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns.
Wow. And it's horrible weather out tonight, and it's windy.
It is.
I'm just imagining everyone gets a million miles on the ground tonight, but which would lead me to side with John. But
smart move.
I can't do that. I've already lost, so either I keep losing, or maybe I redeem myself with a Hail Mary win. So I guess I'll foolishly, perhaps, pick football, pick touchdown passes combined to edge out Pernicious, because maybe I don't know. I don't know why. I'm just doing it. Doing it to be contrarian and hoping that that's valuable. The universe shines down upon me and says, "Sure, let's make that happen for Harrison and to calm the winds in the next couple of minutes and allow these guys to really shoot it out." So, which I think we'll all like at home too.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going with Pernicious as well. I don't expect there to be many touchdowns through the air tonight, so I guess I'm siding with John here. So I guess I'm looking at a second place finish potentially. But yeah, there's been a lot of cool things to really, take away from the season in terms of some of the check-in data and some of the statistics and everything like that. So, fortunately, we're lucky that we've made it to this point. Hopefully, everything stays under control. We've had a couple teams have a positive case here and there. We've had one major outbreak with Tennessee, but as long as we can weather the storm, I'm confident that we'll get to the end. Hopefully, 6 wins should do it for Harrison in the NFC East. John will have to be a little bit better. I don't know about the Texans. We don't have draft picks, and we're not good. So not a great spot to be in. But as long as there's beer, we'll get through Sundays.
That's right. That's it. That's right. Keep checking in, winning or losing. The check-ins are all the same. But this has been a lot of fun, Colby. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. John, great to see you as always. And everyone out there, thanks for hanging out too. Great questions. I mean, this was awesome to hear from people from all over the world about NFL. That was pretty cool.
Nothing left for me, guys. Go Bills. I saw a lot of Eagles chanting in the chat. Someone asked if they should keep John Brown. He's a Buffalo Bill. Yes, keep him. Colby, ignore that question.
I will.
In closing, Panthers versus Falcons games tonight. Let's round out with the actual Hail Mary to win this little virtual tailgate competition. Predictions for the game tonight. With a score for a tiebreaker.
Ooh. Colby, I'll let you go first, Colby, because you know all the data, and that may or may not help me make a decision. So
I don't even know who's playing.
Yeah, last line I saw, Carolina was 2.5-point favorites. I will pretty sure they will cover that. And the over-under, I believe, was 51.5. I don't think there's going to be that many points scored. I'm looking more so. First matchup was 23-16. I don't see much variance for that. I'm looking more in the I'll say Panthers are going to win. Let's say Panthers 24, Falcons 16. So with 24-16, Panthers.
All right. That's a good score. We're not playing by Price is Right rules, so I'll just go ahead. I'm going to agree with Colby and say that, I also like the Panthers. We'll just root for the home team tonight. Untappd is headquartered in North Carolina. And, go for the Panthers. But I'm going to say, I think it's still pretty windy out. I'm going to say it's lower than that, unfortunately, even though I want there to be a lot of touchdowns to win this other part of the contest tonight. I'm going to just turn my back on that answer and say the final score is going to be something like 21-14. Just keep it simple. No one's kicking a field goal tonight. It's all blowing into the stands.
I'm going to thank Jason for helping me out, and I'm going to say Falcons 17 with a victory tonight over the Panthers, 10 points for the Panthers. Travis, favorite Big Ditch beer. They make a berry sour. It's called Berry Vision. That's my favorite to wrap on that really quick. Nice. Those of you that are still here, enjoy the game tonight. Drink a Pernicious, earn the Drinking Socially badge, or level it up a little bit more if you're already a listener to the podcast. And thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you liked about this. Would you like to see another virtual tailgate? Are you more interested in getting fantasy advice from Colby? Because that's my favorite part about him and many other parts about you, Colby.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow. Comes out. And if you're enjoying what Colby's saying too, he's going to write a blog post about this. It's going to be up on Untappd.com, our blog there. If you're not following, we write a lot of cool stuff. It's from beer on beer stuff to football and beer and data and everything in between. So he's going to drop some knowledge on people there in even more detail. I'm looking forward to reading that. You guys should check it out when that drops in the near future. And John, I think we're coming back next week and doing something again, are we not?
The other side of a tailgate next week is a fast food run. We have, I believe, if we're lucky, we're going to get Hoppy Hayes joining us next week on Thursday. We're going to be eating fast food. So if you want to join along, grab a beer and your favorite 5-minute taco or dollar menu item. Harrison and I are going to be trying our best to make it through that next week on Thursday.
Lots of sweating. It's going to be great.
Oh, you guys are going to have a blast.
It's going to be fun. But thanks again, Colby. Thanks again, everybody out there. Other than that, we'll see you next week.
Enjoy the game tonight, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Cheers.